How's it going, everyone? So I hope you're having a great week so far. It is IEEE Quantum Week, and I'm following the keynotes and the seminar. Not only that, but every 4 to 6 weeks, I like to put together what I call my Quantum 8. If you head over to thequantumbull.com, you have 4 options. You can click on Invest. And about every 4 to 6 weeks, I put together the top 8, in my opinion, and that's very important, in my opinion. And these stocks do change all the time. So the rankings change based on sector momentum and those type of things. Not only that, since I started doing this in 2025, I'm also keeping historical rankings. You can see in February, Microsoft was number 1. Microsoft isn't even on the list currently. In March, Microsoft was still holding number 1, and so on and so forth. So we're going to go over this current list and let me know what you think in the comments. So first, we're going to talk about a company called Honeywell, which is number 8 on the list. Now, Honeywell is a proxy play for the private company Quantinuum, which is a quantum-focused restructuring that aligns with Honeywell's larger plans to potentially split, potentially positioning Quantinuum for an independent market debut once conditions are favorable. So Honeywell is an investable publicly traded company. Quantinuum is not. It's a private company that is part of Honeywell. Just a couple recent headlines. So Quantinuum posted about Keto, which integrates high performance quantum chemistry workflows and quantum computing to shorten molecule to market timelines across the pharmaceutical, energy, and chemical sectors and beyond. And this was this month here in just a couple weeks ago. They also released a paper, Quantinuum overcomes the last major hurdle to deliver scalable, universal, fault-tolerant quantum computers by 2029. The system model H11 to perfect magic state production, a crucial technique for achieving a fully fault-tolerant universal gate set. In doing so, they set a record magic state infidelity of 7 by 10 to the -5, 10 times better than any previously published result. And this was a recent paper. Quantinuum, backed by Honeywell, is weighing a new fundraising round that could value the company at $10 billion. NVIDIA has also approached Quantinuum as a potential investor, and Quanta Computer has already invested $50 million for a 0.49% stake. And we know that Quanta has also made an early bet on Rigetti. Quantinuum, the quantum company backed by Honeywell International, is weighing a fresh capital raise that could value the firm at around $10 billion. And we get kind of a look at the H2 chip, accelerating your path to fully fault-tolerant quantum computing. Meet the most powerful quantum computer in the world. So Quantinuum is last on the Quantum 8, partly because the ranking treats Honeywell as a proxy, despite the impressive technical achievements like universal fault-tolerant gate sets and new software tools. The company's commercial impact is limited, and its future depends on a successful spin-off and capital raises. But this is a very, very strong private quantum company. All right, now back to the Quantum 8. We see that LAES, SEALSQ, has dropped 2 ranks, and they recently, so SEALSQ recently completed an offering that alienated some investors. The stock price has weakened since mid-year, and near-term outlook and demand for product remains unclear. New UAE prospects and/or US partnerships could turn the story around. So LAES is a spinoff from WiseKey focused on semiconductor-based cybersecurity. Let's take a look. So SEALSQ received final approval for the acquisition of ICLPs from the French ministry. This was an important headline, and this came just here in August. The company that focuses on developing and selling semiconductors, PKI, and post-quantum technology hardware and software products, and its parent company, completed the acquisition of 100% of the share capital and voting rights of ICLPs. So just looking at SEALSQ, from the top down, they are focused on the quantum threat and building quantum resistant products So existing public key cryptography is based on the difficulty of factoring and calculating large logarithms. Quantum systems can develop unbelievable calculation power to decrypt widely used asymmetric security protocols. So what they want to do is build the hardware of quantum resistance products so that they can essentially stop quantum attacks before they even happen. SEALSQ enhances, so recently in the PKI platform, with code signing capability to secure firmware integrity in alignment with RED and CRA regulations. A company that focuses on developing and selling semiconductors now includes secure code signing services designed to protect the integrity of firmware distributed across connected devices. This new capability positions IEEE as a future proof of trust infrastructure from manufacturers needing to secure over-the-air firmware updates. We saw also that the CEO of SEALSQ was over in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi, and they have set a $100 million investment target. At number 6, rising one rank, Amazon with their Amazon Ocelot chip and virtually unlimited resource make Amazon an intriguing proxy play for quantum. So let's take a look. So recently, Amazon on their blog released a new program set enabling customers to run quantum programs up to 24 times faster. When running quantum workloads with multiple circuits, such as simulating molecular systems, building classical shadows, and training quantum machine learning models, submitting each circuit individually creates substantial delays between executions due to task setup and processing time. This overhead adds hours. Today, we're excited to announce Program Sets, a new Amazon Braket feature that runs algorithms up to 24 times faster on supported devices. So that's pretty cool news from Amazon. Amazon also disclosed a 36.7 million stake in IonQ, a quantum leap for investors. Amazon invests 36.7 million in IonQ, a trapped ion quantum leader, signaling a strategic validation of this sector's commercial potential. Amazon's Ocelot chip aims to reduce quantum error correction costs by 90%, positioning AWS to dominate both hardware and cloud quantum market. The $72 billion quantum market by 2035 validates Amazon's dual strategy, urging investors to prioritize company with technical differentiation and commercial partnerships. So Amazon has enormous cloud reach and capital, but remains primarily a platform provider. The fact that they're building the hardware and they have Amazon Web Services makes them intriguing. It gives you exposure to quantum without all the risk of being in specifically a quantum pure play. They're doing 90% error correction and accelerating the development of real-world quantum computing applications. All right, back to the Quantum 8. At number 5, we have Google. And actually today, as I record this, Google just got some great news on their antitrust. They don't have to sell Chrome, and the stock is going crazy after market. So if we look back at this article from earlier in April, Google talks about progress toward a vision of creating large-scale, error-corrected quantum computers that can solve otherwise impossible problems. In celebration of World Quantum Day, these are the 3 areas they think that quantum computers could help improve life. Better medicine, so helping researchers understand the human body's complex biological systems. Better batteries. The world needs better and more energy and the ability to store it. And new energy sources. Fusion energy, the power source of the stars, offers the promise of clean and abundant energy, but it has yet to be realized at scale. So both Google and IBM recently claimed that the quantum race is nearing the home stretch. They're both aiming for full-scale systems by decade's end, but not only them, many other companies as well. Tech giants claim that the decades-long race to build a workable quantum computer may finally be entering the home stretch. A series of recent breakthroughs has convinced industry leaders, Google and IBM, that full-scale, industrial-grade quantum machines can be within reach before 2030. And Google Willow, the chip, was one of the reasons why Google did so well in late 2024 and why quantum has received so much interest from investors. At number 4, we have D-Wave QBTS, which has lost 1 rank and is now ranked number 4. It was at rank number 1 for a couple months in 2025. So the rank rationale: D-Wave produced a lackluster quarter-over-quarter earnings and has not reported news of significance since its hot start in 2025. While D-Wave excels in the public relations game, research, system sales, and customer acquisitions will be the true long-term measure of success. Early 2025 momentum appears to be waning, at least for now. So let's take a closer look at D-Wave. So D-Wave and Yonsei University and Incheon Metropolitan City announced a strategic partnership. So this is in the South Korea area. So they have a D-Wave Advantage 2 system at the Yonsei University International Campus. And they were the first, of course, in 2025 to demonstrate quantum supremacy on a useful real-world problem. So in the landmark peer-reviewed paper published in Science, states that D-Wave achieved the world's first and only demonstration of quantum computational supremacy on an actual real-world useful problem. Interesting development recently, and the space is moving very fast, so it's important to pay attention to these details, and I enjoy kind of seeing the story unfold. So D-Wave announced their first ever Qubits Japan 2025 Quantum Computing Conference. And we know they have Japan Tobacco, Entity Docomo, Yonsei University, and Incheon Metropolitan City. So if we're just looking kind of at the world map here, and we're looking at Japan and South Korea, geographically, it looks like both of these countries want to be big players in quantum and quantum annealing going forward, which is, I think, why the C-suite has decided to do a Japan Qubits 2025 conference this month in September 2025. So pretty cool. And that kind of came out of nowhere. That wasn't a planned Qubits conference. All right. At number 3, Rigetti Spaghetti climbs the ranks yet again to number 3. So Rigetti successfully launched their 36 qubit system on August 15th, and they remain on track to release a 100 qubit chiplet based system at 99.5% median 2 qubit gate fidelity before the end of 2025. They also completed an ATM, and they have a Quanta investment and partnership, and they are gaining a rank here because they're delivering a hardware updates. If we go over to Rigetti's website, we can see they're in the business of building the whole machine, including the dilution refrigerator, the signal chain, temperature stages, mixing chamber, and the QPU. But what else is very interesting about Rigetti to me personally, so when you look at Rigetti and their long-term plan, one of the things that you see when their CEO talks is he talks about the scalable and modularity build of their machines. So they're building this so other quantum companies can buy Rigetti parts, and they're building their chiplets. They're doing a chiplet-based approach so they can fit more qubits in an array of chips. Fascinating stuff. So just a couple of weeks ago, Rigetti reported Q2 2025 financial results. They gave us the 36 qubit multi-chip. Actually, they had promised it for August 15th and delivered it 3 days early. They talked about their revenues, and they are a pre-revenue and research company, but they are delivering hardware on schedule, which is impressive to me. And of course, in an earlier news release, Rigetti remains on track to release its 100 qubit chiplet-based system at 99.5% median 2 qubit gate fidelity before the end of 2025. All right, back to the Quantum 8. And losing 1 rank is IonQ. IonQ falls to number 3 after mixed earnings. Recent promising acquisitions include Oxford Ionics and LightSync. On the news of acquisitions, leadership at IonQ signaled acceleration of their quantum timeline. They've been making some incredible acquisitions, not only of companies, but in their leadership. And the leadership postures strongly, but earnings and results must follow. Let's dig a little deeper into IonQ and what's going on over there. So at this IEEE conference that is happening as we speak, in fact, I was listening to Jay from IBM, listening to his keynote speech right before I got on and recorded this. So IonQ has highlighted in 12 events and 4 scientific papers at the IEEE International Conference. So that is on their website. IonQ has fortified quantum leadership, surpassing 1,000 total IP assets, so intellectual property assets. And that is a pretty large number there. IonQ has picked up Marco Pistoia as Senior VP of Industry Relations. And this is a JP Morgan guy. So they're beefing up their C-suite with a lot of experience. And of course, and most importantly, IonQ got a premium $1 billion equity offering, and they sold the warrants in shares above the current share price at the time. So they actually were able to raise cash at a premium above the current share price. So very impressive showing from IonQ in mid-2025. All right, and the moment we've all been waiting for. At number 1, IBM. So IBM continues its leadership in this space with new collaboration with chip giant AMD. So we're going to look at that. That was the big announcement, big momentum driver that got them to number 1 this month. Delivered by 2029, IBM Quantum Starling will be built in a new IBM Quantum data center in New York and is expected to perform 20,000 times more operation than today's quantum computers. Also, I was listening to Jay in the IEEE because I have a virtual event pass, and he was saying that they are more confident than ever that they will build a fault-tolerant quantum computer by 2029. It's going to be called the IBM Starling. It's going to have 200 logical qubits, 100 million quantum gates. And Jay also said, be rigorous about what you define as quantum advantage. There's a separation between classical and quantum, and that we must be able to trust the quantum computer and the results. So let's take a look a little bit more at IBM, and let's look at first at this exciting IBM and AMD have joined forces to build the future of quantum computing. So AMD and IBM are collaborating to develop scalable open source platforms that could redefine the future of computing, leveraging IBM's leadership in developing the world's most performant quantum computers and software, and AMD's leadership in high performance computing and AI accelerators. When we look at AMD's performance in the market and what they are building out this year, they have a ton of momentum. So they're getting essentially this proxy play to NVIDIA and IBM's rock solid track record in quantum already. And some people know this, some people don't, but reported in mid-2025 by CNBC, IBM has already earned $1 billion with a B from quantum. That's not a huge amount of revenue for a company of IBM size, but in the quantum space, that is a massive amount of revenue. So IBM has booked $1 billion in revenue from quantum technology with expectations for substantial future growth as the company focuses on transformative technologies like quantum and AI. IBM's strategic investments in quantum and AI are central to its growth. Let's take a look at that roadmap. So they want to, in 2026, demonstrate the first example of scientific quantum advantage and fault-tolerant module. By 2027, to diversify quantum advantage and entangle fault-tolerant quantum modules. And by 2029, they want to deliver the first fault-tolerant quantum computer. The first fault-tolerant quantum computer will be available to clients and allow execution of 100 million gates on 200 qubits. All right, guys, I hope you really enjoyed that. Every 4 to 6 weeks, I put this together. Now, of course, this is very subjective, and this is a race that is constantly changing in quantum computing. We're learning new stuff all of the time, and that is how I determine, kind of based on momentum, recent news, buzz, excitement, and all of the above, on how to rank these companies. So hopefully you enjoyed this content, and we'll see you in the next one. If you'd like to support the YouTube channel and the website, I do offer memberships starting at $4.99 a month. Your support really helps. If you head over and check out the membership levels, there's Quantum Bull at $4.99 a month, the Golden Bull at $14.99 a month, in the Diamond Bull at $49.99 a month. And if you check out our Discord, it is really fun. We talk about a lot of different things, and we have specific channels for specific stocks. You get an alert in our video drops channel for every members video and non-members video. I highly recommend joining if you want to, and if you're able. We'll see you in the next one.